Namaste and welcome, everybody. Welcome to another Thursday Live. The topic of our live today is when is a good time to shut up? And we're going to be doing this live with dearest George and Megan Pormer. Let me. So, have you guys contemplated on this since you saw the promo for our joint live today? When is a good time? Hello, Megan.
Hello, how are you?
I am fantastic.
Wonderful,
Fantastic.
wonderful,
Yes,
wonderful. Well, do we have George here yet?
not
Let-
yet. Not yet. So, what did you think about the topic, Megan? When is a good time to shut up? Did you contemplate on this? And write a comment, guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you all here. So today we're going to talk about George's newest book. It's going to be amazing. Is this George? Let me see. Yes. Let me add George. Where are we? George, I sent you an invite. Welcome, a warm welcome to dearest George.
Hey,
Hello, love.
how are you? How are you, beautiful?
Hello.
Oh
Wonderful,
my God.
wonderful.
Wonderful. What a special day, guys. I'm so happy we're here. My dear friend and my brother Georgie is here, and my guru, SudGuru, is here. Today, we're discussing a very interesting subject, which is all about the voice inside of our heads that doesn't shut up and gets us into so many troubles. And George just came out with the number one book on spirituality right now. It's number one book on spirituality on Amazon. Guys, go buy it right now. It's called Shut the Fuck Up. And we're going to discuss when is a good time to shut the fuck up and hear from the expert.
Yes, George, why don't you go ahead and tell us all about this book? We're all very excited.
Thank you so much for having me, for just being with you today. This book was it was a long time in the making. I've been in the personal development industry for over 25 years. I've gone to India. I've studied with many of the great new thought leaders like Megan and you, Sudi have. From the modern ones of like Tony Robbins to Abraham Hicks to all the guys, all the girls and all the guys. But it wasn't until both of my parents passed away from cancer pretty close to each other. My dad was 2019 and my mom was 2022 that I really got into this. I really took a deep dive on epigenetics, right? I wanted to find out genetically what I was predisposed to, if there is, if there's not. And I encountered Dr. Joe Dispenza, who in my opinion, he really merges spirituality and science. Okay, so he really explains how the brain activity works and he connects it to the energy centers, which is your chakra. So he really just, on a very scientific way, explains how the human condition is and what our programs are and how to rewrite our programs. And after taking a deep dive in the work, I learned that our genetic predispositions, right, like cancer or any other illnesses, are almost like firecrackers, right? You can have firecrackers in your house, but if you don't light them, you're fine, you know? But in what lights the firecrackers? Stress and fight or flight. So basically, the whole premise of the book was born, right? It was like, okay, so how could I leave my contribution to the world as far as like a way where people are not activating the fight or flight, the cortisol levels, the things that really stress us out in life. And I really kind of, what Dr. Joe's work did, it connected all the other dots that I've studied from India, from Abraham Hicks, from Byron Katie, from everyone. And it made me just, these stories came out in which I really for lack of a better word, I'm saying dumb it down. I explain it really simply, how the everyday person could understand and be like, oh, that makes sense. Not too scientific, just very story driven, and I really make the person take a deep dive thought. The book really provokes questions like, let's say you and your best friend have the same boss, and the two of you get together by the water cooler, and you're always complaining that he's such a nightmare and he's this. I'm like, if you knew that that conversation is what keeps him being that way, would you still do it? Is it worth it?
Mm.
Is the 20 minutes of laughter worth 9 hours of hell? Because you're the one experiencing the boss, So that was the genesis of the book, and they're almost like a lot of hacks on how we can just not stress ourselves out by the things that we say and how we metabolize life.
Mm. Nicely said.
I think so.
You're very. Are you here, Megan?
Yes, very
Megan,
present.
Megan's taking it all.
I'm
Megan's taking it
taking
all.
it all
And
in.
I don't even know if I answer your question. Like basically, the name of the book is the Shut the Fuck Up Method, right? But I really want people to be clear. It's not about repression. It's about mindfulness. Okay. I think we're at a day and age and culture where the common theme is express yourself, don't hold back, don't. But this is not about not expressing yourself. I think in a way we actually were overexpressed because we look at a problem and we start like bringing more attention to it and telling more people about it, and it's all energy. And when you start focusing on a problem, and now I'm not talking about you telling your therapist or your best friend about something. I'm talking about when we have that addiction of, you tell the Uber driver, you tell your cleaning lady, you tell everybody that would listen that you don't like your life, that your boss is a pain in the ass, that whatever. We actually make the problem grow energy, and we keep it bigger. We make it bigger. And
Yeah.
this, I explained the science behind this as well. Quantum physics, in quantum physics, if you look at the electrons in an atom and you look away, they disappear, meaning that you as the observer, you have a lot of power when you observe things and you make them happen by observing them and talking about it.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, Georgie, how do you go from, I understand that shutting the fuck up is all about how our words create our reality. So, whatever we talk about, whether if it's even in a funny way, we're talking about how our boss is annoying, we are basically creating that as our reality because our words have energy frequency, our words have a vibration, right? And we're creating that word outside of us. How about shutting up the voice inside of our own heads, which is the main genesis of all of our genetics, and the only way to create that genetic modifications through epigenetics, which is what you mentioned, is to shut up the voice within us, which what SudGuru always talks about as the ego, or the voice, the mind, and the ego, and how to separate yourself from it. And she has this very famous practice called thought cut silence, which means sitting in silence without any voices in your head.
Well, thought cut silence is a daily practice. I'm gonna, since George doesn't know about it, and maybe some of our followers, basically, thought cut silence is, we know scientifically that the mind creates anywhere from 75,000 to over 95,000 thoughts. So that means if we look at it, it's like every second, are you, where's that, where's the weather? Did I check that? Oh my God, did I forget that? So that's the speed that the mind creates. And I call the mind the thinking machine. So therefore, I spoke this in many, many different ways. And when I called it the thinking machine, the first thing that comes to my awareness that, oh, mind is a machine. And when I say the thinking machine, that means there is a machine outside of me or separate from me, that one of its job is to create thoughts with the speed of a light. So when I came with thought cut silence practice is, when I imagine that I have a golden scissor in my head in the same device, And the minute I realized that the mind starts talking, not identifying with the thought and just cut it with the scissor. And I often say, if we keep on doing this, what happens? Like the mind said, hey, George, and you cut it. You come to this millisecond of silence before the thought goes to the next one and say, oh my God, and you cut it and you come to this millisecond. So I said, imagine if for a while you imagine yourself being a gardener, and all you have to do is that you have a scissor and your job is just to cut without analyzing or without a judgment that is this a good thought or is this the bad thought? Is it a rose or is it a weed? The practice at the beginning is that without any judgment, you just want to cut after the first wall. And by doing that day after day after day, that's what I came up with, George. And I felt this silence at the beginning, maybe for half a minute. Then by keep doing this practice, it came to a minute. And then eventually I reached the point that the thinking machine is a separate thing there. When I want to read something or when I want to understand something, I use it. But once it did its job or purpose, then I put it on the side again and I'm just not using it. I'm in this pure silence now.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think the mind, just like the body, is you could condition it, and it's a compounding. It's like exercising, right? The more that you, let's say, you created your own type of like push-up, right? And your intention was the more push-ups that I can do with this exercise, the more fit that I'm going to be, and the more that I'm going to enjoy this workout. So essentially, what I hear you saying is that you figure out a way that you're like, okay, I'm going to create a system that's going to cut those thoughts in my mind, and it's going to work, and you kept practicing, and then of course it came to fruition. So I think it's great. I think it's so wonderful how we can all invent modalities to help us just have more peaceful lives, and really not fight our mind, but work with the parameters of what the mind does, you know. What I like to do is one of the core things of my method is that I say that we reverse engineer, right? So for example, you have your belief, right? We all have our cultural beliefs. Like, let's say your belief is money, it's hard to make money, right? So that's the belief.
Mhm.
And then the thoughts that then plague is, I don't have any money, I don't have any money, money's hard, I don't have any money, like the monkey mind, right? And then your friend invites you to go to Palm Springs for the weekend, and you go, oh, I can't go, I'm broke, right? So it's like, so you have belief, thoughts, word. So then I'm like, okay, so what if you just cut the word? Like, you could always say, hey, I can't go. Or like, I'm watching my finances right now. But for you to actually declare I'm broke, that's a huge statement, right? So the more that you start monitoring, not saying things like I'm broke, I don't have any money. And by the way, that doesn't mean that you need to go around saying I'm rich when that's not true. But you don't have to go around saying you're broke either. You know what I mean? So in my
Yeah.
experience, when you stop the word, you start producing less thoughts. And then eventually you eradicate the belief.
Mhm.
So how would you eradicate, like, let me ask my personal question. For you said the body has its own mind. Like after a while, body creates its own mind, right? For someone like me, I'm used to having like, I'm an overthinker, having like hundreds of millions of thoughts per minute in my head, right? And now my body has conditioned me to the point that during my awake hours, I am more conscious to sit in the practice of thought cut silence. I'm not saying I'm mastering it, but at least I'm somewhat aware of it, right? But when I go to
Yeah.
sleep, just right before waking up, maybe an hour, 20 minutes before I wake up, a thought, a very unwanted thought comes to me in a form of a dream and makes me wake up feeling a certain way, feeling a certain sense of horror in a way. How can you use the shut the
Mm-hmm.
fuck up method for a situation like this when I think my understanding is my body has created a mind of its own that I'm going to wake up not feeling good.
Yeah, no, totally. So I actually talk about it. So this is gonna sound really interesting, but consider that you're a drug addict. Seriously, we're addicted to our emotional states. Okay, so we're addicted to the way we feel, right? In my experience, you not only, so the shut the fuck up method is part of it. I would say it's about 40%. But in my experience, what's made the total difference is you have to meditate. I don't care that it's even 5 minutes, but if you don't quiet the mind, when you meditate, you got to remember your brain goes on theta. You go into the most susceptible state of your brain, right? Super highly recordable, right? So when you meditate first thing in the morning or right before bed, your brain is super suggestible. You take a moment to just be in silence, and that's how you guys start thinking of meditation. It's almost how you detoxify your body from those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so you have, and like Suri was saying, like it's almost like an exercise. Like meditation is almost like a physical exercise, and I know that it's almost like a catch 22 because when your mind is racing so much, it's hard to sit in quiet because the reason why the mind is racing so hard is because you're so much in survival. Your body's like surviving, surviving, surviving. But like I talk about this in the book. Start slow. Start 2 minutes, 3 minutes. But I'm telling you, it's a compounding effect. And the more that you take the time to either meditate for a few minutes in the morning or right before bed at night, when those thoughts come in, Megan, they're not going to grab you by your neck like they do now. They're going to be a lot more softer. But you have to do your part. Listen, meditation is almost like I can know everything about nutrition. I can go and do a great boot camp weekend with like the best exercises in the world. But if I don't meditate, it's almost like I go on these workout retreats and I come back and I don't go to the gym. I go, okay, no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't go to the gym. I
Yeah.
don't understand why my body's not looking that way. You have to work out. You have to put in the work. You can't expect like you go and meditate or you go on a weekend retreat and all of a sudden you come back to your life. Remember, your body is so addicted to the way your life is. Your body's going to start hacking you, so you go back to the way it was because it's safe, it's familiar. We don't go for the
Right.
things. We don't get the things that we want. We get the things our body's familiar to. You got to start thinking about it. If your subconscious mind is 95%, that means that you're literally fighting 95% that's going, no, Megan, come this way, come this
Right.
way, come this way. If
Right.
you don't create a practice, it's an uphill battle, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Sudi?
What do I think? This morning I had a Farsi live, and Megan was there too, and I talk about this. The topic of that live was, where do we go wrong with law of attraction? And the
Mm-hmm.
way I explain it, I said, where we go wrong is that we think universe is a market or is a dealer. We constantly trying to make a deal with the universe. Give me this, therefore I will feel good. Give me this, therefore. And I said it's totally the other way around. Actually, the universe has placed a huge mirror, and it's just a reflection of the energy, the vibration, the feelings that we send toward us, and that also backs us up. So I said, for a few days, sit down and take an inventory. Look at your mind outside of you identifying yourself with the mind, right? So my whole practice is separate the mind. We all know that you are not your thoughts, but it doesn't really resonate what this sentence means. So I said, for 1 week, start taking an inventory. Every time your mind has a conversation, write it down. At the end of the day, look at your inventory for that day and see the majority of the thoughts, the quality of the thoughts. Are they positive or are they negative? Going back to what Megan said, sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with a terror, with this dream that wakes me up into a third. Why is that? is the mind that is not being controlled. Of course, I understand meditation is crucial, is very important, but I always said, what's the difference between the practice of thought caught silence versus meditation? Because you can sit down for an hour to meditate. What happens to the other 23 hours the day that your mind is just constantly throwing out
No,
all this
exactly.
thing and you're just taking everything, right? So that's why I keep putting emphasis of thought caught silence, that you're mindful and aware about the thoughts. So if Megan let the mind goes by itself and the majority of the thoughts are fear-based, anxiety-based, and all of these negative thoughts, of course, the combination of these is going to be, as you said, 95% is in the subconscious mind. So what happened when you and I go to sleep? The subconscious mind becomes loose. The 5% of conscious is not there. So the subconscious is going to throw all the junk, all the beliefs, everything that's in its inventory. And if your days start with anxiety, if you're constantly worried about outside, you worry about the situation, what's going to happen now and how is this going to go, and then you're broken. And the majority of your day is focused on what you're not or what's wrong with you. So what do you expect when you sleep? That you have angels coming holding your hand and taking you to the higher realm? No, of course, there's a fearful thoughts that's going to show up and take you somewhere. So basically what I'm saying is, it all depends. Am I aware of every thought that takes place? And then I said, at the end of the day, when you look at your inventory and you see the majority of the thoughts are fear-based, anger, dissatisfaction, whatever it is, we are intelligent enough to know that these are negative thoughts. So then consciously we have to, when the thought comes, we separate ourselves from the thought and replace it with something positive, replace it with something empowering. We start choosing is at this moment by being fully conscious that I am conscious that every thought has a vibration and every thought will create a feeling in my emotional body, and each time I'm sending that out to the universe and the universe is reflecting it back to me. So this to me, it takes 24 hours staying awake, not for the mind and ego to take you away. And this has to become a practice. Like we have to write it everywhere, in our phones, everywhere, thought caught silence, to be aware that to separate ourselves from the thoughts. And we all know, you know this better than me, George, our reality is created by our mind, by our thoughts. So what's more important in life for me from the minute when I wake up to keep myself awake, not to identify myself with the thought and with the ego.
Yeah. No,
Thank you,
exactly.
Sadhguru. So,
Yeah.
Georgie, how well based on what Sadhguru said, what are the, in your personal opinion, what are the top three tools that Shut the Fuck Up method offers people to make their minds quiet, go quiet?
I usually my go-to is three steps. It really is. It's like, and what Suguru said is it's so true. It's like I would never, 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 never leave my house without my morning practice, because the morning
Mhm.
practice, even if it's 10 minutes, it creates your day. It's almost like going out of your house naked. That is insanity. You have to set your day. And that could, for me, it's very simple. I created it's in the book. It's called the GAV. It's gratitude, affirmation, and visualization. I write three things that I'm grateful for right off the bat. I'm grateful for the roof over my head, my dog, the fact that I can breathe without any pain. You have to, when you're in gratitude, you're in your highest state of receivership. And immediately you remind the body that, oh my God, millions of people would kill to be in your shoes. Things are really okay, right? And then I go into affirmations, literally like, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm generous, whatever you want. And then I visualize three things that I want using all my five senses, right? Smell, touch, feel, taste, like everything. And then I go into my little meditation, usually 10, 15 minutes, where I just balance out the nervous system. Okay. For me, when I do this every morning, which I do it every morning, then what I notice is that the shut the fuck up method is so easy to apply because I'm not living in reactivity. People are not upsetting me. I can be in conversations where people are talking bad about people or gossiping or being negative, and I don't have to be what I call the shut the fuck up police. I don't have to be like, when you say that you attract, because nobody wants that. In fact, in my book I have the shut the fuck up 10 commandments, and one of them is thou shalt be generous when talking to people, meaning like you got to let people be who they are. Letting people speak whatever they want to speak is the highest state of generosity. And it's not about policing people, it's about letting them be who you are. For me, I love meeting people that I don't like because they show me my own arrogance and my own addiction to controlling. So it's and my own victimization. It's which is arrogance, right? It's like if I need you to be different so I can be here good, then I'm trying to control you. That's not love, that's control. So bring me an enemy, that's what I love. So between setting myself up with my meditation practice where I'm now not very reactive, and then the world will unfold, right? I'm gonna get stuck in traffic. Somebody's gonna get in front of me in the supermarket line, and I'm gonna wait 30 minutes instead of 5. Like life is gonna happen, but I feel that I'm now so aware that every situation, especially when it's something that I don't want, is actually an opportunity for me to get my emotional autonomy, for me to get my emotional freedom. So it's a gift. A friend at the end is just a nice little silly idiot that agrees with everything that I'm doing. Bring me somebody that's bringing me some sort of trigger and it's not giving me what I want. And that's the real friend. That's the guy or the girl that's really making me a better person because it's almost like that's like the workout that it's giving me the internal muscle so that I could be the kind of person that I want to be, which is a generous person, a compassionate person, a loving person. So lately, I actually get more pleasure, not out of getting the things that I want, but actually out of seeing my reaction when I don't get the things that I want. Okay, when I see that I'm at peace, when I can go to bed at night and be like, I didn't kill anyone. But I get more pleasure out of that. So the winning formula. I was gonna write a quote today, but I put a video. I was thinking of this quote. Tell me what you guys think. And it says, "Be careful with what you say, especially when no one is listening."
Oh, wow.
Yes, very good. Fantastic, George.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I was thinking regarding our topic, when is a good time to shut up, or when I think about your book, I think what's very crucial is for us to slow ourselves down, to sit back, because in the past, in my youth, George, I used to get upset with everyone. I used to get in a lot of argument. And the reason being, what came to my mind, I would throw it out without any filtering, without any contemplation of where and how is going to hit someone else, right?
Hmm.
So because for many, many years, you don't know my story, maybe, George, I left Iran on my own when I was 17, came to US, and I came with a mission that I'm going to make it on my own and I'm going to stand up on my. So in order for me, for this character that I built, I want wanted to be a hero of my own story. Therefore, a part that got created in this hero character was becoming extremely emotionless. Do you know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I covered all the feelings. No feelings were allowed to come to the service. And I put a lot of walls not to get hurt because I didn't have family or anybody. So it was just me putting a lot of walls and filters not to feel. And I didn't want anybody, I didn't want to get involved with anyone else's emotion. So therefore, without a filter, anything that I thought, if I met you and you said a couple of words, I would say right away to you, you are very unethical, you're or unauthentic, and I don't want to deal with you, and I would just leave without any filters. So then later on, I learned that I need to get that emotion back again. It was a part of this, whether even though we want to be a hero, we don't have to be hard. We don't have to lose the compassion. So then I realized what were the part that was missing with this character. Compassion, love and compassion and understanding, and I brought those back, and I started to tap into the emotional body and emotions of others. So once I learned that, I slowed down. I had to really slow down myself, so when someone, whatever it comes to my mind, I wouldn't just put it out, spit it out, and then I would sit in it and contemplate to see why do I want to say this? What's my intention? And then how is that going to affect the other person? So for me, that was a big lesson, to learn to slow down, to sit back and watch my mouth and become aware and become conscious that what am I saying? And I noticed at the beginning, I had to hold back a lot of times, a lot of conversation, a lot of things that I was saying, it wasn't necessary. And sometimes the things that I was saying, it wasn't coming from a good place. It was actually coming from a vicious place. I would just say it to hurt someone else. So that was a big lesson for me. I thought maybe you guys want to collaborate on it.
For me, um, every what I deal with, the struggle I have with when to shut the fuck up, is the thoughts that come to me are mainly about, oh my God, there's something wrong with me. Somebody help me out there. Or I need to be heard. Like yesterday, one thing I sat on personally, one thing I made myself to shut the fuck up about is that I had this urge to call a friend of mine and to tell her about an unwanted situation, like a situation that was not serving me, and how I am no longer choosing that situation. And then I sat in it and I'm like, why do I need to share? Where is this need? Where is it coming from? And I went deeper and I realized it's coming from the place of, first of all, I just need to share. I just need a mic to listen. I just need to have a 24/7 mic so I can talk into. And if that's in the form of a friend or like free ears or whatever, I take it. Which means that I need have this constant need of just talking. I sat in that. Then I sat in the fact that I don't need that person's approval of me. That look at me, this time I did not go for an unhealthy choice. I didn't need that. Then I was left with the third option. And the third option is that when I feel a lot of anxiety, and when I talk about it to somebody, it makes me feel like it gets better. But why? Why do I have to talk to somebody else to make my anxiety go away? Why can't I make it go away by myself? So right this moment, I'm sitting in that, like I'm shutting the fuck up and sitting in all
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. So, again, I'm, I'm not a licensed therapist or a counselor, but I talk a lot about this in the book. And these are things that have worked for me, and I can see it and I can feel it. So let's go back to what I was saying before, how we're all emotionally addicted to our lives, right? So basically, energetically, we attract the same situations, so then we feel that familiar feeling of like the roller coaster, right? Whether it is the anxiety and then the resolution and then come back out and whatever, right? So since we're all addicted to our emotional lives, when we grab that best friend, right? It's like, Megan, I need to tell you, I'm feeling really anxious and I don't know what to do about that. And you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling anxious too. And then I'm like, oh, and then I feel like, oh, thank God I told you. And you're like, I told you. And I'm like, oh my God, you're the best. I love talking with you. And you're like, oh, I love talking with you too. You would think you're getting something off your chest. But in reality, it's almost like you and I just did drugs together. We did our hit of heroin.
Mm.
So of course we're gonna feel good when we're high. And we're like so high on like I dumped this on you, you dumped it back on me, and blah blah blah. But then guess what's gonna happen? In 2 hours from now, when you start losing the effect of the drug, your body's gonna crave it again. And then the same asshole or guy on traffic or whatever is gonna come and do that again so your body can feel what it's familiar to, right?
Yes.
And that's what happens. We keep reinforcing that addiction. And what I would suggest to you, it's like even watch how you say things. You even said, when I get so anxious, like we gotta start speaking clean. Like we can't go into these words like I really get so frustrated, and when I like it's your man, words are so powerful. Like we have to like lower the narrative. It's like instead of saying like I have this problem, right? Like how about you start saying I have this opportunity that I look forward to overcoming. Like how about we got to start playing with language, because the way we're constantly just cementing our old ways of being, very innocently though, because the body is just sneaking in there, so you keep staying the way you are. So like I said, when I have a situation that I feel that they're coming less and less, by the way, I think we could get to a point where we can sort everything out by ourselves. Again, not a therapist or anything. I'm just giving you my experience. Because what I suggest is like, if you really have to talk about something, pick one person in your life. Pick one person and let it rip and tell her, Megan, you're my one person that I'm going to say this. I'm scared about this. And I still use responsibility with the word. So maybe instead of saying, Megan, I'm so scared, I could say, Megan, I'm concerned that my project is going to take longer than I thought. Instead of saying, "Hey, I'm really scared my project's going to shit," maybe I'm saying, "I'm concerned that things are going to be a little more adventurous than I thought." Seriously, it sounds silly, but when you start playing with language and making it softer, you're opening up solutions that can now come, you know? And I and yeah, you know what you do. You know that what happens is when you start telling everybody about your problems, it actually becomes more work for you, because then let's say you overcome it, but then you told your neighbor, she goes, "Hey Megan, how's that situation with that guy
Yeah.
going?" So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. Yeah.
boom, you're experiencing it again. And I'll tell you, the two of you, something. In one of my retreats that I did, I was taking care of a guy that had ALS. I'm sure you guys know what ALS is a disease that basically it inhibits your motor functions of your body. It's a neurological disease, right? And this guy that I was helping was telling me that he can remember when ALS activated in his body. And he said that he knew, because we always know, he said he knew that it happened because every time he had a problem, he would tell everybody about it. And now he had to manage multiple conversations about a problem, and they would never go away, because then somebody else would give him an opinion. So right when he overcame the problem, somebody brought it again. Somebody brought it. So it's like you have this scab that you keep picking and picking and picking and picking, and it never heals. That is what I have to say.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
needed it. You definitely channeled for me because, yes, that's the aftermath of oversharing. You overcome the problem, the people around you haven't. And they
And
remind you over and
guess
over and
what?
over again.
And guess what? And guess what? And I want to tell the two of you this, and people don't really think about this. But I talk in the book about this friend of mine who moved in with his girlfriend, and I was telling another friend of ours, like, Kevin moved in with his girlfriend. And my friend was like, Kevin, unlucky in love? Kevin has a girlfriend that moved in? And then I'm like, wow, we are our own worst publicists. When we go around talking about our problems, people don't forget, Megan. People will remember, oh, yeah, Megan always has that issue with. And then we start architecting stories about ourselves with the world. And then we're known as that person that always has that issue. And then we're cementing that that's who we are. So we need to start taking responsibility of how we occur in the world. And every time we start like diarrhea and our issues, people keep score. And it's not like, I'm not saying they keep score to like do this to harm you, but the world starts to know you by what you talk about.
Oh my
So we got to
God, like
start
this is the
taking responsibility.
this was amazing, like what you shared. Because let me tell you what, like about what you just said. And Sudguru, this is something I wanted to ask you about today. I went through a long period of my life where I had an army of people, hundreds of people that I would share my personal problems with, right? And it was just always obviously me, the victim me, the sad me, the anxious me, somebody did me wrong, right? And then I went through a long detox, right? I went to India. I did the ashrams. I awakened. I don't want to say awakened, but I had different experiences, and I understood. Oh my God, what was I doing? Now I'm back from all those experiences, and on one hand, I know that all the people that I had around me and the dynamics that I had with them is very unhealthy for me because they are remembering Megan as, oh, poor Megan. Oh, Megan. Yeah, Megan, every situation she gets
Yeah.
into, this
See,
happens and
your
that
your
happens.
your environment is your environment is bringing you back to the old ways because that's what
Yes.
happens.
Yes. Yes. So what do you do in a situation like that? Do you cut all those people out? Some of those people are like my closest friends. But on one hand, they're my
You
closest
shut the
friends. So I've known them for
fuck.
like,
You shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up. Seriously. Enough. It's almost like you're at a buffet of pizzas and spaghetti and you're going, God, I really want to lose weight. I really want to lose weight, but I don't know. I don't know how to lose. Can you pass me the pasta? Yeah. So I don't know. I really want to lose weight. I really want to. Oh, is that cheesecake? Close your mouth. You gotta close your mouth. It takes willpower. I get it. And that's why I'm big on the meditation, because the meditation makes the craving lower the craving. You can't skip a meditation. I just like, I don't believe in it. But what Guru said is true. Like during the day, you have to also monitoring the thoughts, right? Because you're going to meditate in the morning, but then what happens to the next 23 hours, right? So you have to monitor, but you have to summon willpower and bite your mouth and stop giving in to the addiction of complaining, because it's an addiction and it's rampant. It's a survival based conversation. Okay, it's very attached to the
Mhm,
lower energy centers, which is a whole different conversation,
mhm,
right? It's primal, it's survival. That like people are living 70% of their lives with fight or flight stress. That's why we're seeing the epidemic of cancer. That's why there's autoimmune diseases. That's why there's so many neurological diseases. They're not our punishment or enemy. It's just the body saying, I can't do this anymore.
mhm.
So
And
the
so what do
universe,
you do with those people? This is my question. Like, do you cut everybody out? Like, you now have new boundaries. You shut the fuck up, right? But so and so, your best friend, is used to 30 years of calling you and you complaining, right? And now you no longer complain. And she still calls you every day. What do you do with that? Do you cut them out? Or do you tell them, I no longer want to
you
share?
know what? I personally, what I've done, and I've changed a lot of my friends because I noticed a lot of my friendships were based on us complaining and gossiping. And listen, and I love you, I care for you, but I'm not about that life anymore. So at first, they started fading out. So much of my book is about relationships that I've completed, and it is. But you can't also like go to the other side and be like, oh, I'm more spiritual now and I don't talk about issues like you. So you go, it's not about that. It's about you just taking a stand for what you want your conversations in your life to be and be like, I love you, I care about you, but we're done. And you don't even have to tell them. You're just not picking up the phone anymore. And guess what? If you're not complaining, they're going to stop calling because you're not going to be fun. So it'll take care of itself energetically. You'll stop being an alignment to each other. So they're not gonna call anymore. But then you also have to monitor because you're gonna be like, oh my God, people don't love me and all that. No, you have to trust that in this 3D world, we only have such little hours to connect with people, to make friendships. We can't have everybody on speed dial. It doesn't work that way. So whoever leaves, I love you. You're making room for new ones to come. And that's all I can say. It's just like you have to monitor. You know, at the beginning when I started this process, I would hang up on people when the minute be like, oh, so, hey man, I gotta go. Hey man, I gotta go. And you know what? It was the beginning, right? Now I'm just so not in that space that they don't call me. And by the way, that doesn't mean that my contractor won't call me out of nowhere and start complaining. And then I actually I like it. Now I smile and I get to practice my willpower, right? Almost like you're back at the buffet and there's pizza everywhere and everyone's eating and you're going drinking your celery juice. This is nice, you know what I mean? That's gonna make you. You're gonna start getting more enjoyment out of you having that willpower than you indulging in giving into those conversations.
Thank you so much. So, SudGuru, I know you're listening, and as you're listening, you're evaluating the collective energy of what we all need at the moment, right? We all learn about when to shut the fuck up, and we're gonna all buy the book. Buy it right now, guys. It's #1 book on spirituality on Amazon. Go buy the Shut the Fuck Up method to learn when to shut the fuck up, both internally within
It's
yourself in your
it's
head and
it's
with
the
other
shut the fuck
people.
up method. Silence your way to the life of your dreams. There's another book that has the first title, but it's a really small book. But wait, I don't want to run us out of time because, you know, Suguru, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a comedian at heart, right? So I don't want everything to be super serious. So I actually created a game that I want to play with you guys for a little bit. If we have some time. Do we have some
The
time?
only thing is is it just me or is it just his reception, SudGuru?
Yeah.
Do you see him blurry and does it you keep getting cut off? It's driving me crazy because you're saying so many valuable things.
You know what? I thought it was you guys. It's me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes,
You
George, your
see?
connection is not that great.
You know what? You see how sometimes you can't shut the fuck up and you have to like speak your mind? Let's try this. Is this better now?
Not
Yes, because
really. Now it's
No?
okay.
now it's
Yeah,
better.
now it's better. Yes.
Is it better?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, this whole time I thought it was you, and I'm like, God, these girls, they need to get new phone services. But you see how life is? And it was me. It was me the whole time. I love it. I love it. Okay, so I want to play this game. I just came up with it. It's called Shut the Fuck Up or Don't Shut the Fuck Up.
Sure.
Okay? So I'm gonna give you guys a few scenarios, and I want to see if we have if your answers match mine. Okay?
Mhm.
So, all right. So you go with your bestie on a Saturday afternoon to the newest vegan coffee shop in town. Okay? The
Okay.
waitress serving you is a living doll. She's such a sweetheart. You know, so sweet and actually super pretty. But she also has a serious mustache. Okay? um, you start contemplating how, oh my God, this girl's so pretty, but definitely she has to be single because if a guy's looking at her and going, that girl's not
I
taking
go
care of
for
herself,
shut
then
the
what?
fuck up, George.
I shut the fuck up too.
You don't say anything?
No.
Not even in private?
No.
Well, Suga is like, next question. uh, 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 I'm now, I'm just like, okay. So you go to your favorite brunch rosé all day restaurant,
Uh-huh.
okay? And it's an all you can eat brunch, and you bring your four best friends, okay? After the best like boozy brunch you've ever had, you notice that the waiter comes with a bill, but he only charges three of you and not five brunches. Do
Mm-hmm.
you shut the fuck up or you don't shut the fuck up?
I shut the fuck
I
up.
don't.
Ah! Okay, so Megan, I would shut the fuck up, but then I give him a big tip. Because you know what? If the universe hooks you up, like you can like be like, no universe.
Oh shit. Then I suck at this because I would shut the fuck up and give it the minimum tip too.
No, I would give a really big tip. I would give a really big tip. Uh yeah, so based on the rapidness of answer one, we're just gonna leave it. But you
But
see,
I was saying SudGuru George, the way she works, she's listening to me, she's listening to
I
you,
know.
she's listening to everything, but
Oh,
she's
listen,
evaluating.
I know her big dissertation's coming. I just wanted to give her more. I wanted to give her even more of a moment because I see her. I see her through the. Well, now that I can see her perfectly after I was blaming her internet service for the last hour, because in my head I was like, man, if she sold one of those Buddhas in the back, she could get high speed internet and this could be solved. But it turns out it was me. So there
Yes.
you go.
And I was shutting the fuck up all along because
Oh
I'm
my
like, how
God.
should I say it? Should I say it? Should I not say it? What
So
should I do?
did I, George. I wanted Megan to tell you so. But
You, I can't believe it. You are so right. Look, yeah, anyway, it's because the thing is here. But I do want to hear what you have to say. Big time.
I was just thinking about this. When was it, Megan? A couple of weeks ago, she took me to this network marketing. And the network marketing was all about, like, it has a theme of spirituality, and everybody was talking and giving their opinion. The whole time I'm sitting in my meditation pose, lotus on the couch, and just zip nothing. So an hour goes by, hour and a half goes by, and Megan said to me quietly, Sadhguru, don't you want to say anything? I was like, no. So 2 hours passes by, everybody else is talking and that stuff. And then Megan went off the way and she said it loudly this time, Sadhguru, what do you think about that?
No, see that's what's good about Megan. Megan doesn't hold back when she needs to talk. She'll just
No. It's not just about when I need to talk. When I need somebody else
yeah
to
yeah
talk, it's the
yeah
same thing.
yeah. I correct myself when she wants you to talk.
Yes. And then I said, well, I was trying really hard to tame my ego. I told my ego, there's no need to say anything. Let everybody else do the talking. So that's it. Basically, I have nothing to say, George. I mean, although I have a lot to say, but I don't have anything to say. But I do have something. I was talking with Megan the other day. We were brainstorming with this girl. I don't know. She was in social media. She's a social expert or whatever. And then I channeled this thing. I said we should start running a new challenge for 40 days. Intimacy into me, see, and truth telling. What do you think, George? Are you in? So we, instead of us having our fingers going out, people are bad, people are liar, the people are, why are they cheater? Why do all guys ghost me? Instead of that, we have to constantly turn it
Now she's
inward. And
getting all psychic. Wait, what
I
happened? What
know.
just happened to
I
you?
saw that too.
yeah, I don't know. So
Did you do that on purpose?
I didn't.
I
I
swear I
didn't do
saw.
it. No, the Instagram does this weird thing itself. The Instagram, maybe it was the universe applauded. They agreed with this 40 days challenge. See, the universe also agreed with it. So intimacy, I'm starting to really starting a new relationship with myself, self discovery, and also I'm going to be starting to have self worth, self love, being enough, and starting to have a healthy self image of myself. And then the second part is truth telling. So if you ask me, George, you say, Sudi, so how old are you? I would say, George, I just turned 62. So I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not trying to hold anything back. So it's about truth telling and intimacy to start the making love with myself, to start a real, healthy, balanced relationship with myself. So what do you think? And we want everybody, we want to start this 40-day challenge from today, and then everyone else has to tag 3 or 5 other people to come in. And we go all the way 40 days.
You know, I think it's brilliant, and this really ties into something that I really believe so passionately, which is, you know, the Bible kind of had it right when they said, "Love thy neighbor like you love thyself." Like, if I don't love you, if I hate you, I hate me, right? So to start monitoring, right, and having mindfulness on how we speak about others and how we criticize others, once we start taking that mindfulness and start cutting the addiction of judging, and again, nothing wrong with judging, but just having that mindfulness. Like, let's say you're with a friend and somebody else comes and your friend goes, you know, oh gosh, she looks so bad, and you just don't add to it. You don't have to make him wrong, but you just go. The more that you start cutting those addictions on them, you're also going to be a lot more loving to you. Because when I step now in conversations where someone is gossiping about somebody that's not there, I know that when everyone leaves, that person is going really hard on themselves,
Mhm.
because that's our, you know, our, everyone's just our projection, you know. So I think that, yes, that having love and compassion on you has to reflect on how we treat others and vice versa. And the beautiful thing is that people are there in our life almost like our training wheels, so we can start loving ourselves, because by loving them we love us.
Mhm. So Megan, shall we start the 40 days
Yes,
challenge?
40 days of truth telling and intimacy with yourself. But when we are tagging people and we're challenging them to be a part of it, what are they required to do for 40 days?
Just be engaging. Let us know. We send a post daily to check on everybody, and they're just going to write to us how challenging it is. And if they every single day they try to accept one more thing about themselves, to be a little kinder to ourselves, to be more loving, more accepting, having a healthier self-image. So write a comment, and just every day we keep tagging 3 or 5 people to bring them in.
40 days of truth telling, right? So we, every single day, every single one of us is responsible to be 100% truthful with themselves and with the world outside. And if
Are you guys in?
I'm in,
Yeah, I'm down to start it and have it unfold. I kind of, I don't feel like I completely understand it. Megan is really good at this game. I wonder if she gets now everything's making sense. You know, when I told Megan about the book before it came out, Megan's like, you know what? You need to do like the ice bucket ALS challenge. You need to start saying, I like, let's say an example. I need to, you know, shut the fuck up about get on Instagram and be like, I need to shut the fuck up about my parents' death, and I nominate Megan to shut the fuck up about not finding the right boyfriend. And like, so Megan was saying, you need to like call people out, and I'm like, Megan, I think that's gonna be really like, maybe people should just like volunteer their own what they need to shut the fuck up about, not them. She's like, no, you created this and it's bold. You have to be bold.
I meant it.
No, it was good. It's almost like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like,
Nice,
So yeah,
nice.
you see, this is the challenge. I was channeling it. I was channeling that this book needs a challenge, and now
yeah.
the challenge is the intimacy challenge, the truthful challenge, truth telling challenge.
So Guru, give me an example of what would be one post. So I want to tangibly understand it.
Yes. So, for instance, today you're going to
Mm-hmm.
start someone who is the most irritant in your life. day number one, whoever that person is, you're going to leave him or her alone, and you're going to come to yourself and see what in you is really irritating you. So everything that we see outside in our reality that we don't like about someone is dishonest, somebody is a liar. We leave the character outside behind, and I come back and I see, is sit in my truth. Where am I lying to myself? Where and how am I lying to myself? So we start by going to really getting to know ourselves. I really empty myself and start seeing all layers of ego. And one by one, we peeling the onion by I'm seeing that I hate my mother. I leave my mother alone. I come to myself, why do I hate it? This hatred energy is within me, and I work on releasing the hate however way I can.
Like
Okay,
the way.
but
Mm.
we're not posting any of this on social media. This is just a mental practice.
It's a
That's what I
mental.
wanted to ask.
Yes, but every day we're gonna have a post. Like maybe
Like,
today is we
uh-huh.
work on one layer. I tell the truth about something that I was very sensitive and I was trying to hide it, whether it was my age or how many times I was married before or whatever. Every day we announce what one challenge that we work on.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so then why don't you guys do the first and then I'll get my ideas from that post once and I'll see how you guys do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. It came to the end. I love you all. I'm leaving tonight for Canada. 6 days retreat to Canada. And then
Amazing.
I see you. Yes, I'll see you guys when I get back, or we probably might do a live next Thursday. I am not sure. But if you guys in Toronto area, you can come and see me for 6 days. And on the last note, we should follow George if you guys haven't followed his Instagram page, and we should give him our full support by purchasing his book.
You're gonna love the book. Trust me. It's everything we talked about, and I'm so moved by the people's reactions, and it's perfect for people that are don't want to dive in too scientifically, but just want to get some good mind blowing stories that will change their lives.
Yes.
George,
Love you,
I'm so
George.
proud of
Love you,
you.
Megan.
Love you guys.
Congratulations.
Have a beautiful
Tanushree.
day.
Bye
Bye.
bye.